one of the things that Oracle's been contributing to OpenELA is the maintenance of some of these long-term kernels. So for the last 6 months, we've been providing additional security and bug fix updates for the 4.14 kernel, which, as it turns out, is used by quite a number of OS distributions out there, not just Oracle Linux. Of course, Oracle Linux is one of the users, but we've seen it being consumed by Amazon Linux and a number of other platforms that still have a 4.14 kernel.
Hi, this is your host, Bhartia, and welcome to your Let's Talk. Today we have with us Greg Marsden, Senior Vice President of Oracle Linux and member of the Technical Steering Committee of OpenELA. Greg, it's great to have you on the show.
Great to be here.
First of all, we have been covering OpenELA since its inception. Of course, we are going to talk about some specific, but just quickly tell our viewers, what is OpenELA all about and what is Oracle's involvement with it?
OpenELA started just about a year and a half ago to provide an open benchmark for the enterprise Linux community. We know there's a lot of customers out there who depend on a enterprise Linux ecosystem. Oracle has partnered with several other enterprise Linux distributions, CIQ and SUSE, to provide a open benchmark for what we see as the enterprise Linux, the right way to provide enterprise Linux for our customers.
How has the project or the foundation evolved within this 1 year?
In the last year or so, we've worked very closely with with our partners as part of OpenELA. And in the course of that OpenELA work, what we've noticed is that in the past, we've always been competitors. And it's been great to create a collaboration space for these different distributions, Oracle, Rocky and SUSE, to work together and share some of the things that we've learned about it, and hopefully to start to build things that are going to improve the open enterprise Linux community in general. The other thing that we've discovered, not really discovered, the other thing that we've kind of started to lean into is the idea that OpenELA is not just for OS distributions. It was started by 3 OS distributions, but we've been excited to start the process of welcoming members of the community, both end users and ISVs who depend on the enterprise Linux standard, in addition to other OS distributions as well who want to be a part of the OpenELA community. So we're not looking to just make a club of OS distributions. We'd like to be a group of interested parties who care about enterprise Linux in both the ISV and the end user space.
Yeah, the way I look at it, the goals or the mission of OpenELA, it goes beyond, just if you look at these founding members, you mentioned this, SUSE is there, Oracle is there, Rocky Linux is there, CIQ is there. And this is, I think, the story of open source, right? Your folks can continue to compete. Your sales team can compete in the market. When it comes to building an ecosystem or code base, that's where the collaboration happens. Now, can you also talk about how does OpenELA set a benchmark for enterprise Linux and how does it help the ecosystem?
So the first thing that OpenELA does to set that benchmark is to create a bug-for-bug compatible source base that each of these distributions can work off of. So that way we know that we're starting from the same, bits and bytes that everybody else is working from, and exploring ways that the individual companies can add their own value add that's going to bring customers into that ecosystem. And so, by creating this forum that allows competitors to collaborate with each other, I think that we're really making the enterprise Linux community a little bit stronger. And we've already seen, numerous contributions that are going on right now that are helping to improve some of these projects. And of course, all the projects that we're working on are open and hosted on, github.com/OpenELA. So, the proof of what we're working on is right there.
Oh, as I said earlier, that we have been covering OpenELA from early days. Most folks may assume that all OpenELA does is maintain an enterprise Linux code base. Talk a bit about other activities or core to your mission, which goes beyond just maintaining the code base.
So, of course, the bug-for-bug compatible standard code base is the core of our mission. But I'd be happy to just talk about how Oracle's contributing to OpenELA. So the way that Oracle has contributed to OpenELA has really fallen into 3 major projects. The first one is our focus on open enterprise documentation. So creating a documentation base for OpenELA so that customers have a combined single source that they can look at for understanding how they should expect their enterprise Linux systems to work. The second area has been around tools to promote upgrades. And the third area is around long-term kernel support beyond what the upstream Linux community is providing. So in the context of the upgrade tools, we've put a lot of work into the LIAP project. That's the in-place upgrade tool that allows you to move from a 7 to an 8, for example, distribution without having to completely reinstall your system. That tool originally is written by Red Hat. We've contributed a number of fixes under the OpenELA banner, including NFS support, so you can do this now on NFS root shares, including SE Linux support, so that you can do an in-place upgrade of a system that has SE Linux set up on it. And these are not features that are part of that base LIAP tool, and we're excited to be able to offer those as part of our enhanced version. Additionally, we've also seen OpenELA as a forum for extending Linux kernel support beyond what the upstream community has been providing. We really appreciate the work that the upstream community has done to create this concept of long-term support branches, these LTS branches that exist on kernel.org. The long-term is definitely the basis for the kernels that Oracle provides as part of Oracle Linux, in addition to the kernels that are part of the OpenELA project. And as part of that, what we've noticed is that there are a number of users of some of these kernels who are for which those kernels are no longer getting upstream support. The community has moved on. These kernels are, too old in the context of the upstream development work, but we still have critical customers. Every customer has their own reason why they need to stay on an older version of the Linux kernel for business continuity or for whatever it is, but we're all able to work together to come up with that solution. And so one of the things that Oracle's been contributing to OpenELA is the maintenance of some of these long-term kernels. So for the last 6 months, we've been providing additional security and bug fix updates for the 4.14 kernel, which, as it turns out, is used by quite a number of OS distributions out there, not just Oracle Linux. Of course, Oracle Linux is one of the users, but we've seen it being consumed by Amazon Linux and a number of other platforms that still have a 4.14 kernel, because having an open place to find kernel updates for these older kernels does have an important place in helping keep systems secure. So, that's how we've really found ways to contribute. The documentation piece, we are contributing via the improved upgrade tools, the enterprise upgrade tools, and via, using OpenELA as a way of getting community support for longer term support of kernels that are important for multiple use cases.
OpenELA was primarily created, for the, enterprise Linux code base. But are you folks going to focus only on maintaining the enterprise Linux code base, or you feel that you might expand it for some other critical pieces that enterprises rely on?
I appreciate the question. Where do we want the OpenELA work to go? Do we see it going beyond the enterprise? No, we are enterprise Linux focused, but where components might be interesting to enterprises, we are interested to go there as well. So in terms of, where do we see this going in the long term? We're certainly, focused on our enterprise customers. We'd like to develop that ecosystem, not just of enterprise distributions, but also enterprise ISVs and enterprise end users. And as we discover projects that are going to make sense, for example, this in-place upgrade, improving in-place upgrade for enterprise customers, that's absolutely something that we see as a useful value add for the community.
Since we are talking about the whole ecosystem around enterprise Linux, a lot of folks, of course, they depend on it. But why should folks also join OpenELA? What value will they get by becoming part of OpenELA? Of course, they can use it without joining it, but what benefit they will get?
Down the line, we're really looking for ways to encourage new membership into OpenELA. And I think that, eventually what we'd like to have is some way of saying that, a ISV or a distribution is OpenELA approved, or an OpenELA member company is working on a particular project, and that will give people the flexibility to understand that their application or their, whatever it is, their critical dependency is going to work inside of that enterprise Linux ecosystem. But we don't have anything like that yet. We're certainly, it's something that we're actively looking into.
Greg, thank you so much for joining me today and talk about Oracle and your contribution to OpenELA and the wider enterprise Linux ecosystem. Thanks for those great insights. And as usual, I would love to have you folks back on the show. Thank you.
Thank you. It was great to be here.